The ship kept sailing. The people didn't. No storm. No damage. No bodies. Food was still on the table. Beds were still warm. The crew was simply gone. The ocean is loud. Even on its calmest days, it speaks. Waves strike hulls. Wind cuts across rigging. Wood creaks and metal groans. So, when sailors say something felt wrong, it usually is. On December 5th, 1872, a British brigantine named De Gratia spotted another ship drifting slowly in the Atlantic Ocean. Its name was painted clearly on the stern, Mary Celeste. She was upright. She was seaworthy, and her sails were still raised, but something about her silence made seasoned sailors uneasy. Because ships don't drift like ghosts, the Mary Celeste left New York City on November 7th, 1872. Her destination was Genoa, Italy. Her cargo? 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol. The sailor, Captain Benjamin Briggs, was an experienced sailor. He had commanded ships for years without incident. This voyage wasn't reckless, it wasn't rushed, it wasn't desperate. In fact, Captain Briggs felt confident enough to bring his wife, Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, aboard. 7 crew members also joined them. 10 souls in total. A family voyage across the Atlantic it was. No one on board would ever be seen again. The first days of the journey were uneventful. Weather logs later suggested calm seas, no major storms, no known collisions. Captain Briggs kept a meticulous journal. His entries were precise, measured, professional. Nothing hinted at fear. Nothing hinted at danger. The last known log entry was dated November 25th. After that, silence. When the crew of the De Gratia approached the drifting vessel, they called out. No reply. They circled the ship. No one appeared on deck. Finally, they boarded. What they found defied every expectation sailors had about abandonment. The Mary Celeste was not damaged. Her hull was intact. Her sails were partially set. Her cargo was still aboard. Food remained in storage. Personal belongings were untouched. The crew's boots were still neatly arranged. Pipes and tools lay where they were last used. There was no sign of violence. No blood, no struggle, no chaos. It was as if everyone had stood up and walked away. But subtle things were wrong. The ship's chronometer and sextant were missing. These were essential navigation tools. A lifeboat was gone. Yet the sea showed no evidence of a desperate evacuation. Why abandon a stable ship for a small, open boat in the middle of the Atlantic? Experienced sailors knew better. Captain Briggs knew better. Then there were the barrels. Of the 1,701 barrels of alcohol, 9 were found empty. Industrial alcohol is volatile, highly flammable, prone to leaking fumes. If fumes built up below deck, there could have been an explosion. But there was no fire damage, no blast marks, only the possibility of a threat that never fully materialized. Investigators would later speculate, what if Captain Briggs feared an explosion? What if he ordered a temporary evacuation? What if the crew planned to return, but never could? A rope was later found, trailing from the ship's side, as if the lifeboat had remained tethered until something went wrong. The Atlantic is patient. Currents shift quietly. Weather changes without warning. A sudden storm, a snapped rope. A drifting lifeboat pulled away from its ship. If the crew watched the Mary Celeste sail beyond reach, they would have known. They would not survive. Piracy was considered. But pirates steal cargo. The alcohol remained. Personal valuables were untouched. No nation reported attacks in the area. And pirates do not vanish families without taking anything. Mutiny was also proposed, but Captain Briggs was respected. There was no recorded conflict. And mutineers do not abandon ships without supplies. They take control. They sail away. This never happened. Some scientists suggest alcohol vapor explosions that produce sound but no flame. A loud boom, enough to panic, enough to force evacuation. But again, why not return? Why not secure the ship? Why abandon certainty for the open sea? When the Mary Celeste was brought to Gibraltar, a salvage court convened. The judges were suspicious. A ship this intact, with no crew, was unprecedented. They searched for foul play. They found none. The crew of the Dei Gratia was eventually paid, but under a cloud of doubt. As years passed, the mystery hardened. No wreckage from a lifeboat was found. No bodies ever surfaced. No final message was discovered. The sea kept its silence. Captain Briggs had a wife and child on board. This matters. He would not abandon the ship lightly. He would not gamble their lives without extreme reason. Whatever happened, he believed staying was more dangerous than leaving. Over time, fiction crept in. Ghost stories, sea monsters, supernatural explanations. But the truth doesn't need ghosts. Reality is unsettling enough. The most accepted theory today is also the quietest. A perceived threat, a precautionary evacuation, a tragic miscalculation. The lifeboat lost. The ship sailed on. The Mary Celeste terrifies us because it breaks a rule. Ships sink, people die. But disappearance? That feels unfinished. It leaves no ending. The ocean does not owe answers. It keeps what it takes. And sometimes, it leaves the ship behind. The Mary Celeste was found drifting. Her crew was never found. And the Atlantic said nothing. If you found this story interesting, click the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel. Also, click to below to watch next video. YouTube recommended it.